Nice morning, everybody. Today we are going to discuss together parts of Act 3, Scene 4. We are in the middle. We are in the Gertrude's chamber. Hamlet is talking to his mother. Hamlet says to his mother, "No, by the root, not so." The root means the Holy Cross. Root means the Holy Cross. He swears by the Holy Cross. اللي بيسموه الصليب المقدس. الصليب المقدس. Why he is saying no? Because she asked him before, "Have you forgotten me, Hamlet?" He says in response, "No, I haven't forgotten you." No, by the root, not so. You are the queen. He wants to prove to her that he is not mad and he hasn't forgotten her. You are the queen. Your husband's brother's wife. Oh, he chooses the worst words. You are your husband's brother's wife. You are the wife of your husband's brother. And would it were not so, and things were different. You are my mother. You are my mother. I hope that I weren't your mother, your son. Queen, nay, then I'll set those to you that can speak. If I can't speak to you and you can't give me suitable responses, clear responses, I'll send people who can talk and communicate with you in the proper way. Come and sit you down. You shall not budge. You shall not budge. You shall not budge. You shall not budge. You shall not move. I am not going to allow you to move. Shift. You will not move. You will not shift. He now puts restrictions on her. He doesn't want her to move, to leave the chamber. You go not till I set you up a glass. You will not leave until I put a mirror in front of your eyes in order to make you see yourself. خليك تشوفي حالك ايش بتساوي انت. Where you may see the inmost part of you, to help you or to make you see your innermost feelings, your reality. شوف ايش حالك انت. A queen, what? Wait, what will thou do? What will you do? Thou wilt not murder me. You will not murder me. Help who? She misunderstood him. She thought that he was mad and he was about to kill her. That's why she asked for help. Polonius, behind the curtain, behind the arras, repeats after her, help. Hamlet, how now? A rat? Dead for a ducat? Dead. He thrusts his dagger into the body of the person hiding himself behind the curtain, and at that time he did not know that this person was Polonius. He killed him, as he said later. He mistook him for a king. He thought that the king was hiding, Claudius was hiding behind the curtain, and this is a suitable time to kill the one behind the curtain. He hurries and stabs him from behind the curtain. How now? A rat? Did for a ducat. You are to die. You are to die. You are dead for a very little amount of money. A ducat. Thrust his rapier sword through the arras, through the curtain. Polonius behind cries, "Oh, I'm slain, I'm killed." Now, Polonius got killed, got slain. Slain التصريف الثالث. Slayed, slain. Queen, "Oh me, what hast thou done? What have you done?" Hamlet, "Nay, I know not. Is it the king? I know not. Is he the king? The one I killed, is he the king? I mistook him for a king." Lifts up the arras, the curtain, and discovers Polonius dead. Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this. Rash, عمل متسرع. A bloody deed, almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry his brother. What I have done is as bad as the thing you have done, namely, what I have done is as bad as killing a king and marrying his brother. He is speaking about the crime committed by Claudius, the killing of Hamlet's father, and his mom marrying Claudius. As kill a king, she is inquiring. She says, "Who has killed the king?" Hamlet, "A lady, it was my word, thou wretched, rash, intriguing fool." Intriguing means meddling. متطفل. He is talking to the dead body of Polonius. "Thou wretched, rash, intruding." You are meddling. متطفل, intruding. What a rash, yes, intruding. Wretched, rash, intruding fool. Polonius is also rash. Farewell. مع السلامة. I took thee for thy better. I mistook you for your superior, namely the king. Take thy fortune. This is your fate. This is your luck. Thou findest to be too busy in some danger. You were busy doing some danger. Leave wringing of your hands. He now addresses his mom, saying, "Don't wring your hands. Don't wring your hands." This is the act of wringing. Don't wring your hands. Peace. Keep peace. Quiet. Sit you down. And let me wring your heart. Wring, grid. Come on, wring, grid. Grid. يعصر. Grid your heart. For so I shall, if it be made of penetrable stuff. If your heart is made of penetrable stuff, penetrable material, a material that can be penetrated, يعني مادة إذا كان قلبك مكون من مادة يمكن اختراقها. If damned custom here means vice. Custom here means vice, الرذيلة. Vice. If damned custom haven't praised it so. Praised, hardened. If vice hadn't hardened your heart. إذا الرذيلة لم تجعل قلبك hard enough, hard. That if it be proof and bulwark against sins, if your heart is proof يعني ضد, and bulwark against sins, and protected, bulwark protection. And if your heart is protected from being affected, if your heart is adamantine, adamantine means can't be penetrated. Adamantine. If your heart is natural, I can ring your heart and I can know your true feelings. Oh, yes, against sense, against feeling. Sense. What have I done that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me? Wag your tongue, move your tongue. Wag means move. What I have done that you address me in a harsh way. You move your tongue harshly against me. You are talking harshly. What I have done to that you are harsh with me. Hamlet says, such an act that blurs the grace and the blush of modesty. Blur means stain, يطمس. Blur means stain. يطمس أو يلطخ. يطمس أو يلطخ. You have done something that stains, that blurs, that stains, and the blush, the grace, and the blush of modesty. Blush, حمرة الخجل. حمرة الخجل. يعني you have done something shameful, a shameful crime. Calls virtue hypocrite. The thing you have done makes virtue hypocrite. حولت الفضيلة إلى نفاق. Takes off the rose from the fair forehead of an inmost love. It's something takes the rose, الوردة, from the fair forehead, من الوجه الجميل, of an innocent love, من حب بريء, and sets it a blister there. Blister. You took off the rose and instead you put a blister, stain. Stain, something shameful. There. Makes marriage vows as full as Dicer's oath. And what you have done made marriage vows, marriage oaths, as false as Dicer's oaths, as false as the oaths of a Dicers. يعني جعل من القسم الذي يقال في الزواج شيئا كاذبا لا أثر له. Oh, such a deed, as from the body of contraction plucks. Contraction means marriage contract. Contraction means marriage contract. جعل من عقود الزواج, من عقود الزواج, which are very respectable by religion, respected by religion, yes? And from the body, oh, such a deed, as from the body of contraction plucks. Plucks, remove. Pluck, remove. Remove. That takes away. That takes away. Or pull out. يسحب. يستل. يستل أو يسحب. The very soul of the marriage contract, and the sweet religion makes a rhapsody of words, and makes of our sweet religion a melody of words. A melody of words. A medley of words. A medley of words, a group of words. وجعل من ديننا الجميل الرائع مجموعة من الكلمات الفارغة. طبعا marriage is a sacred bond. Marriage is a sacred bond. A sacred bond. عقد مقدس. زواج عقد مقدس في الإسلام وفي المسيحية. Heaven's face does glow over the solidity and the compound mass. The compound mass means earth. Compound mass, earth. means earth. جعل من هذه الأرض أو جعل أهمية كبرى للزواج على الأرض. Heaven's face doth glow over this solidity, and this, and means this, and here means this, and here means this. And this compound mass with restful visage. Restful means sad. Restful means sad. And made this earth and made the earth sad. The earth, visage means face. Face. And made the face of the earth sad. The thing you have done made the face of the earth very sad. A heinous crime to participate in killing a king and marrying his brother. With restful visage, as against the doom, as against the doom, is thought sick at act. Against the doom, what you have done is against God. Is against God. Doom, al-qadr. Against God. What you have done, something bad against God. You know, you see that Hamlet's feelings are very passionate, are very strong, Queen, Amy, what act that roars so loud and thunders in the index? What a heinous mistake, what crime I have done what mistake I have done or crime I committed, as you said in your preparatory speech في المقدمة. Look here upon this picture. Upon this picture. He shows her the picture of his father. And on this, the counterfeit presentment of the two brothers. Counterfeit presentment means pictured faces. Counterfeit. Counterfeit. Presentment. Means pictured faces. Pictured faces and figures. He compares here between the face of his father and the face of his uncle. He shows here two pictures to compare between his original, his father's face and the counterfeit, النقيض تبعه, the counterfeit اللي هو Claudius the killer. He wants her to compare between his father and her ex-husband, his father, and her present husband and Claudius. See what a grace was seated on this brow. What a grace is there on my father's brow. Hey, brow. He is describing his father. Hyperion's curls. He has the hair of Hyperion. Hyperion, the son of God. Hyperion. Hyperion, the sun god. إله الشمس. له شعرات زي شعرات إله الشمس. كارز اللي هو العقص. Yes. Hyperion's curls. The front of Job. Front forehead. وجبهة جوف، وجبهة جوف اللي هو supreme God. جوف the supreme God. هو مزيج من الآلهة. The front of Jove himself and the eye of Mars. Mars إله الحرب. War God. وإله الحرب. إله الحرب fearful. Very fearful. And Mars to threaten and command. The face, he has the face of Mars who can threaten and command ويأمر. يستطيع أن يهدد وأن يأمر. A station like the herald Mercury. Station means posture. Means posture. ووقفة Mercury. Mercury الرسول. Mercury the messenger of gods. Mercury the messenger of gods. You see, for Hamlet, his father is a mixture of gods. He is like several gods, or several gods' features are manifested in his father. طيب كويس؟ كويس. And you lighted on a heaven kissing hell. And newly descended on the summit of the hill. نازل جديد لسه على قمة جبل. A combination and a form indeed, where every god did see him to set his seal. Every god has contributed to my father's nature and sealed my father's nature. كل إله من الآلهة ختم على أبي أو أعطى أبي شيئا من خصائصه. To give the world assurance of a man, to give the world, God wanted to give assurance that man is dignified, and my father represents a human dignity because he reflects all the elements found in God. This was your husband, my father. هذا زوجك الأول. These are the qualities, the features of your first husband. Look you now, what follows? What follows? Here is your husband, like a mildewed ear. Mildewed ears. Mildewed ears. Mildewed ears. Mildewed means deceased. Mildewed means deceased. Deceased ear. Here, he likens his uncle's face, or his uncle's body, Claudius's body, the second husband of Gertrude, to a deceased ear of corn. عرنوس ذرة. هذا عرنوس ذرة مريض. بالنسبة لعرنوس ذرة مريض جدا. Blasting his wholesome brother. Blasting his whole brother. Attack. Blast means attack forcefully. أرنوزدورة مريض attacks a king, a mixture of gods. Wholesome brother. في عندي deceased وفي عندي wholesome. The one who is deceased, المريض, attacks the wholesome, the healthy. مريض بيهاجم السليم المعافى. Blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Do you have eyes? Could you on this firm mountain leave to feed and batten on the moor? Moor. Wasteland. Our poor land. Don't you have ears? You came down from the summit of a mountain rich enough to feed you. There are the soil of the height of the summit of the mountain is full of food. You descended to the bottom and you started feeding on the moor, on a wasteland, on a poor land. And batten means grow fat. Batten means grow fat. Batten. Feed or grow fat. You came down, you left a very fertile land full of good things that contains healthy, rich food, and you descended and started to feed on the moor, on a very poor land. Shakespeare's language is very difficult. That's why I spend most of my time paraphrasing for you and giving you the meaning of the difficult words in modern English. Have you eyes? You can't call it love. What you have made, you can't call it love. It's not love. Have you eyes? You can't call it love. For at your age, the heyday in the blood is tame. Because people in your age, heyday means, yes, heyday means middle of age. Heyday means middle of age. People in the middle of their ages, في منتصف أعمارهم، إيش بصيروا؟ The heyday in the blood is tame. The heyday means, the heyday means wildness of spirit. Wildness of spirit. توحش الروح. توحش الروح becomes tame. يعني becomes tamed. تصبح هادئة. مع منتصف العمر passions become tame. Strong desires, hot desires become tame. It's humble. It becomes humble and waits upon the judgment and considers judgment. People at the middle of their ages consider judgment, take into their considerations the public opinion, the judgment. Why? Because their desires, their sexual desires, have become tamed, أصبحت ملطفة, that they consider people judgment. They act taking into consideration the people's judgment. They no longer act harshly, rashly. They are influenced by reason. يتأثرون بعقولهم وبأحكام الناس. They become sensible, they become reasonable, they become tame. Their passions, their strong sexual passions, no longer drive them away rashly towards committing sin or adultery. ناس في عمرك هيك بكونوا غلام. And what judgment would step from this to this? Since sure you have, else could you not have motion, but sure that since is a plot for madness wouldn't err, nor since ecstasy was mere throat. Ecstasy means madness. People in the middle of their ages become rational, become sensible. Nor sense to ecstasy was never thrown. You are, people in your age, become free from being enslaved by their ecstasies or their desires. But it reserved some quantity of choice to serve in such a difference. You are, people in this age can balance things, can't be deceived. What devil was it that thus hath cozened you at a hoodman? Cozened? Cheated, deceived. What is the thing that has deceived you? ايش اللي خلاك تنخدعي بهذا الشكل deceived you? At a hoodman, blind, as if you were blind, or you were deceived by a blind man. Eyes without feeling. You have eyes without feeling, feeling without sight, ears without hands or eyes, smelling sense all, sense means wanting. Or without. Are you without seeing eyes, without listening ears, hearing ears, without powerful hands, without all these senses, lacking in all these senses, لا عقل ولا إيدين ولا بصر ولا بصيرة ولا قلب ولا عقل. Eyes without feeling, feeling without sight, ears without hands, or eyes something sans all, or but a sickly part of one true sense. Only one sense. Now, if you had only one sense working properly, could not so move. You could not so move, oh shame, this is thy plush. Move means dwindle. Means dwindle. Simply he says that you took a decision, a blind, simple man, a blind, dumb, deaf, unseeing blind man can do it. Your choice, you chose as if you were deprived of all your senses. No one could have done it. Shame يا للعار. Where is thy blush? وين الخجل, حمرة الخجل? Rebellious hell. You are living in a rebellious hell. If thou canst mutine in a matron's bones, mutine means rebel. Mutine جاي من mutiny. mutiny أو rebel. تمرد. 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 If thou canst mutine, if you can't rebel in a matron's bones, to flaming youth let virtue be a wax. If you can't rebel against all these bad circumstances you are living in, then let the virtue melt as if it were wax. خلي الفضيلة ايش؟ تذوب كما يذوب الشمع. And melt in her own fire. تحرق نفسها بنفسها. Proclaim no shame. Incur no shame. When the compulsive ardor gives the charge. Since frost itself as actively doth burn. Frost means middle age. Frost middle age. Since the frost itself as actively doth burn, as the reason panders will, as if reason vanquishes reason, العقل. Reason, العقل, mind. As the reason vanquishes panders will. pander قولوا هو الجواد بس هنا تعني ايش؟ of vanquish. Defeat. As reason panders will, yes, overpower, as if reason overpowers your will. O Hamlet, mother, O Hamlet, speak no more. And there I see such black and grained spots as will not leave their tinct. She begs her son to stop speaking in this manner because she started to feel painful. She started to feel that she has done something wrong, and there is something that stains her heart. شيء stains your heart. يلطخ قلبها، يلطخ مشاعرها. She has done. I know she feels that she has committed a shameful crime. She is reproaching herself. توبخ نفسها الآن. Grained spots. Stain. Tinct means stain. Tinct means stain. أو stigma. stigma إشارة العار، علامة العار. stigma. grained spots, deep dyed spots. deep dyed spots يعني بقع داكنة، أرى بقع داكنة في قلبي. هي معنات إيش؟ معنات grained. هي معنات إيه grained؟ deep spots. Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed. Enseamed bed. Greasy bed. Greasy bed. You are living in a bed which is full of grease. Grease مليان شحم، مليان وسخ، مليان قذورات. Nay, but to live in the rank sweat. rank sweat. قلنا من زمان rank means rotten. عفن، وسوت العرق، عرق عفن. عرق بتليف، عرق عفن، شم ريحة العرق العفن على السرير التي تضاجعين فيه زوجك. In the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, stood in corruption, deep down there in corruption, honeying and making love. You are making love and honeying with over the nasty sty. حظيرة الخنازير. تعيشين في حظيرة الخنازير. صور قبيحة جدا. He said from the very beginning, he wants to speak daggers to his wife, to his mom. These are the daggers he spoke to his mom. I know you feel and I feel that his words are very harsh. He wants to infuriate her. He wants to anger her, irritate her in order to make her confess or provide confession. Oh, speak to me no more. These words like daggers enter in my ears. No more, sweet Hamlet. Your words are very, very much like daggers. They enter my ears. A murderer and a villain. عن عمو بيحكي. A murderer and a villain. A slave that is not worth, is not the 20th part, the 10th part. Tenth part. A cheap person, a very cheap person, a very trivial person, a very worthless person, killer, murderer, and a very worthless person of your precedent Lord, if compared to your ex-husband, a vice of kings, رذيلة الملوك. He draws his mother's attention to the comparison between her ex or first husband, Hamlet's father, and her present husband, current husband, Claudius. He says to her, your husband, the present king, is a murderer, a villain, mal'oon, a slave that is not a 20th part, the 10th of your precedent lord. It doesn't deserve 1/10 part of your ex-husband, a vice of kings, رذيلة الملوك, a cut purse, سراق, حرامي, cut purse, pickpocket, حرامي, سراق, pickpocket of empire, pickpocket of empire, سارق إمبراطورية, and the rule, وسارق الحكم, that from a shelf, precious diadem, stole, سرق جوهرة رائعة, diadem, crown, diadem, crown, وسرق العرش, سرق اللي هو تاج الملك, as if he stole a diamond from the shelf and put it on his head. This is usurping kingdom, an act of usurping the kingdom. نهب المملكة ككل. We stop here. This is a very important scene where Hamlet chastises his mother's feeling and conscience. You read it thoroughly. It is very important. It is illustrative, informative, tells us a lot about Hamlet's feelings, his mother's feeling, his estimation of his father, the first king, and his estimation of the feigned or the counterfeit king, the one who usurped the kingdom and killed the king. Thank you.